There are times when we need to breathe a little life into our design work. Here are a few ways to help make our design pages shout. Because we want to work quickly and to use all of the space on our paper, it can be difficult to bring our best ideas to the attention of our client in amongst our construction lines. I'm starting by using a heavier pen to strengthen the outlines of my preferred ideas. I'm concentrating on the lower lines of my shapes to help make them stand out. And I'm choosing the lower lines because this is where we'd be more likely to see shadow. Another product of darkening these lines is that it has the effect of grounding the shapes. In other words, attaching them to the page and effectively sitting them on a surface. Where the individual designs were initially hard to make out, they now contrast with the other activity on the page. My next stage is to add colour to the shapes. I'm imagining that there's a light source somewhere to the right hand side of the page, and I'm putting a light tone on each surface facing the light source. This can be done quickly, and I'm not worried if I go over an edge. It's worth remembering that I'm not trying to produce a piece of artwork. I'm simply adding layers of information to my design sketches and make them easier for my client to understand. I'm then going to apply marker pen to the surfaces that are a little more hidden from my imaginary light source to the right hand side of the page. I'm using a mid-tone marker to make these surfaces of the object a little darker. The subtle contrast between the two tones gives my object's shape. Notice that I'm leaving a white gap between the surfaces with the light and mid-tone marker pens. This gives the effect that the objects are made from a smooth, reflective material such as plastic, and this white edge is where the light is bouncing and reflecting back at me. The addition of marker pen starts to bring my ideas to life, but these sketches can still look a little flat. I'm now using a third marker pen to add a darker tone to my shapes. I'm focusing upon the left hand and bottom edges of my designs where the least amount of light would reach from my imaginary light source. This is having the effect of making my work start to pop off the page. If you look closely, you might also think that the shapes have a radius on the edges. In other words, they're rounded rather than being right angles. With the shapes now starting to step out of the paper, we need to make sure that they're still grounded or attached to it. I'm now adding shadows cast by each of my shapes. I'm starting again with a light tone and I'm being reasonably loose with my pen work. Going on from here, I'm adding a mid-tone which has the effect of adding a second imaginary light source somewhere near to the original one. And finally, I'm adding a darker shadow very closely to the edges of my shapes. This connects them very tightly to the page. The next stage of making my design page shout is to add some elements of detail. The detail that I'm adding gives some life to my pens and pencils. I'm adding a light brown to signify that they're made of wood, an orange to show that they've been painted, and a red to add shadow and shape to them. Throughout the generation of design ideas, I'm working loosely. I'm focusing upon being relaxed, putting ideas down quickly, and not caring if my work doesn't look good. I'm designing. In other words, I'm generating ideas. And I'm designing to communicate my thoughts to my client. I'm not in the slightest bit interested in producing artwork. I'm making my ideas shout to add information, not to show off my art skills. Here you can see that I'm adding a dark shadow underneath the pencils. Again, I'm assuming the same position for the light source. These shadows bring the pencils to life by giving them a 3D quality that was missing before. It also places them firmly on top of the objects they're drawn on. Finally, I'm placing reflections on each of my shapes. These consist of parallel lines in a slightly darker tone than the surfaces I'm applying them to. In conjunction with the white space between the light and medium marker surfaces, a third party reading the page would conclude that the objects are made from a reflective material such as plastic. As I said at the start, these are just a few practical ways to make your design pages shout, and there are many more. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, please hit the like button and subscribe for more. Remember to select the notifications tab to be the first to hear of my next video. And you can find lots of downloadable resources on my website at www.productdesignermaker.com. And have a look at what's going on behind the scenes at Product Designer Maker on Instagram, and I'll try my best to answer any comments you make below. Thanks for watching.